Let's talk about the song "This Is Who I Am," the #1 song in Australia at the moment. And you debuted this song at the grand final breakfast a couple of weeks ago, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, world.
Another nervous moment?
Yeah, this time around I've been really nervous because the song is saying stuff that you don't lyrically get away with. I mean, it's saying, I spent years hating who I was. I was always at war with what I was as an artist, as a person. And, to come out there with this cheery song saying, I couldn't stand myself, but now I can find myself bearable. Woo! It's always quite scary. It's a scary thing to come out and say.
Mm. Yeah, it's really laying it on the line, isn't it? When you're that brutally honest in a lyric, you're sort of sometimes aware that you are telling people some of your deepest, darkest secrets.
I know I'm aware of doing it. Yeah. Like even with the past history, with some of the hits that I've had back in my childhood, that I came to the realization of then that when I was writing stuff to just get it off my chest, stuff that I couldn't really say in day-to-day life, that when it ended up on a record, it was so public from there on, and I had to always continue explaining myself on that. And yeah, I learned that at a young age, so that's why this album's frightening, because I know what I've done.
Yeah. Now, the video for this was directed by Christopher Watson.
Yeah.
Now, tell us his story, because he's had a pretty good track record, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, he's an Australian guy, and I spent a lot of time in America, and I've got a lot of really close mates that work on CSI, and they're big in the movie film industry over there. So when I sort of went over there and was writing all the tracks, a good mate of mine was like, I want to do this video, I've got some great people. And of course I knew Chris because I'd hanged out with Chris and another guy called Philip, because they've got some movies and I went to their movies to see them out and be a supporter for Australian directors and stuff. So that's where it came from, really.
He's made a horror film too, hasn't he?
They're making more horror films now. I think they've got a movie at the moment they're working on, which is Pineapple Express.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a few different things. Yeah.
Oh, pretty good stuff.
I think they've finished that one, actually.
Have they got any cameo roles for you?
No, I can't act at all.
Come on, Chris.
No, definitely not. And, and there's